The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN and get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN app. The SGPN app is completely free to download and home of all your favorite SGPN podcasts, contests, and picks. Just type SGPN into the App Store today to download America's #1 DGen app. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Because even when we lose, we still win. We still win. Good day for the picks. For me, not necessarily, but it's fine. Because we just casually gave out another 6-1 underdog lineup. Man, it feels good. It feels good to come out. Even when you should have a losing day, still have a winning day. Scott Studio Reichel here. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing pretty well. Looking forward to going through the 8 games
Scotty,
on Friday.
Surprise.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's fine. Either way. Looking forward to the games today. Should be fun. The games yesterday were a bit weird because it felt like there were a decent amount of games that were somewhat competitive, but no games were decided by within 4 points. So it was kind of weird how that unfolded. But either way, the games itself were a nice variety. Let's put it that way. But decent day for props, decent amount of high-scoring games. I know for the last show that we ended up doing, I ended up hitting the lock. Shout out to the Knicks and the Jazz for combining for about, I don't even know, 130-something points in the second half. So shout out to them for helping me with the over. Dog didn't get there, but I also did think that Embiid and Giannis would probably go for 40 apiece. They did, so that worked out pretty well. But overall, can't complain. Looking forward to the games on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to what's my man's name? Justin Dupree came into the chat at 8:32 a.m. to sing the praises of the Miami Heat as home favorites. I mean, they would have had to tell me about, back-to-back Heat as home favorites, and you're telling me that the Bulls money line wasn't free? I think I put everything I put on the Hornets back on the Bulls money line and got it all back. I mean, it's great. This is the greatest trend ever. Greatest trend ever.
Were you I'm assuming you were a big fan of the fact that the Bulls didn't just blow them out. They made you sweat a little bit, because I know that you appreciate a nice fourth quarter sweat if you win in the end.
Yeah, and it was definitely because what was it? It was 30-8.
It was 33-8.
Okay. Did it get to 30? So 33-8 in the first quarter. And then when I peeked back at the game, I think the Bulls were up by 1 at half. And I was like, or were they down 1? It was something. It was like a 1-point game at half. I was like, now I got to watch this game. I didn't need to watch it for real. Come on, man. You don't trust the Miami Heat as home favorites. Like, you don't. You do not. But
and they covered the game before that against the Hornets. So they were owed another letdown at home because they actually covered a spread for once. So they had to make it right by not covering this one. The only takeaway I really have from that game in particular, because we already expect Miami to fall apart anytime they're a massive home favorite. Kobe White's really good, man. Kobe White's really good. And that's really my main takeaway that I wanted to mention, because I've talked before about how the Bulls should have blown up the roster several years ago at this point, and Zach LaVine is either not wanted by anybody or he's actually injured. But Kobe White, man, he's been really, really good ever since that LaVine injury happened, or ever since he was basically excommunicated from the team. Just want to give him a shout out. He's probably not going to win Most Improved Player. I feel like a lot of people who are basketball casuals who don't go out of their way to watch the Bulls probably realize just how good he's been. And as a fan of North Carolina, I never thought he'd be this good in the NBA. So shout out to him. He's been fantastic for the last week and change.
I mean, he's been slowly getting better. You look at the month of October, he averaged 9 points per game. In the month of November, he averaged 15 points per game. Now he's averaging 26 in December.
He's been
26.7 points per game in December, 6 assists. Well, really almost 7 assists, 6.7 assists, 6.5 rebounds. He's been good. He's been really good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the games that are actually going on today. And today's episode of the NBA Gambling Podcast is going to be called Deja Vu. Why are we calling it Deja Vu? Because we are talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, is that 4? Yeah, 4. 4 of the same games that we talked about last week. 4 of the same games. Is Rail wearing a Burger hoodie? No, it's a Support Black Colleges hoodie. It's not a burger. What? All right. So 4 games, 4 automatic rematches from Wednesday. Looking to break those down. But first, we're going to talk about the New Orleans Pelicans traveling on the road to the Queen City to play the Charlotte Hornets. New Orleans Pelicans opened up as 5-point favorite. They are currently minus 7.5. 231.5 is the total. Injury report for these two teams and Zion Williamson. My nemesis, my arch nemesis, is questionable with an ankle injury. Matt Ryan, Larry Nance Jr. not playing this game. Then you got Mark Williams doubtful with the back. Expect to see Nick Richards back in the starting lineup. PJ Washington questionable with the shoulder injury. LaMelo still out. All right, Scott. Starting to get more and more points as the books begin to trust this Pelicans team a little bit more. What were they catching last time? Was it 7.5?
I think they were laying about 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 6.5, 7.5. So about the same number from the Wizards to the Hornets. What are you doing?
Yeah. They were getting buried in that game against the Wizards. They were down like 20-8, I think. And they scored 140-something points and won the game by 20. So I don't really know what to make of that game. Shout out to Ingram, though. He had 40 points. Zion didn't play. I think I'm going to lean to the Hornets in this one. I simply took the Pelicans because I think the Wizards are an absolute laughingstock. I know the Hornets struggled against the Heat. That happens. But I don't think the Hornets are that bad. Like
They didn't struggle against the Heat. They didn't struggle against the Heat. They lost the cover, but they were competing the whole game. I watched.
Yeah, but the point I'm saying is they underachieved against the spread in that spot against Miami. But yes, I do think that the Pelicans are getting a bit too much respect now, assuming Zion doesn't play. I know, once again, that the Pelicans, when they are fully engaged, are a very talented team. But Zion's not – I'm assuming Zion's not going to play because anytime he's questionable, there's like a 70% chance he doesn't play, if we're being honest with ourselves. So – nobody really knows if Zion's going to play or not. If he does play, maybe I'll reevaluate. But I think the Hornets are a lot better than the Wizards, which isn't saying much, but that tells me that the spread maybe shouldn't be the same that it was against the Wizards. I think this might be an overreaction to what happened last time out. I'm not going to bet the side, but I am going to lean to the Hornets here. I like the over in the game, but I do think that the 7.5 is a bit large for a road team that, historically speaking, has not been very good on the road. So I'm going to lean to the Hornets plus a 7.5, but my favorite play in this game would be the over. I see points in this game.
The New Orleans Pelicans have found a way to make themselves 13-9-1 against the spread. They are 4-6-1 on the road. 4-5 as favorites. Man, this Hornets team really should be better than what they are.
I know. They really should. They shouldn't be good.
I'd be watching the game, and I'd be like, dog, Gordon Hayward's playing well. And then I'll look, and I'll be like, Bridges is still playing well. And then I'll look, and I'll be like, dang, Rozier's playing well.
Yeah,
why does this team suck?
Yeah, why are they down 20 right now? Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, man. It's really frustrating.
I guess the question is, do you trust the Pelicans enough? Because you know they're the better team. Do you think they actually show up for back-to-back road games? Because the Pelicans also didn't show up for the first quarter of that Wizards game. They just were fortunate the Wizards are so bad. They scored like 120 points in the final 3 quarters. So
I think I'm with you in the fact of why is this line the exact same line as the Wizards, and you now have Zion, who is questionable. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe this is a larger line of Zion is 100% playing this game, but now that he's questionable, it comes down, and that makes it this number. That could make sense. No, I'm gonna. I can't trust Charlotte. Give me the Pelicans. I'll take the Pelicans. I don't like it. I'm not betting this game. Not touching this game. 231.5.
I already lean over. I think if New Orleans covers, it's not because they're guarding anybody. It's because I just think that Charlotte's paint defense isn't great. Ingram maybe drops 30 again. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, I like the over in the game.
Really? I would have thought you liked the under.
Nah, I could see this being a more up-tempo game. We saw the last game that they played. Yes, I know the Wizards are a very up-tempo team, but they scored 140. That game broke the 260s. I just think this game would find a way into the mid 230s, low 240s if I had to. So I'll lean to the over in this game.
Last 5 games between these two teams: Pelicans 4-1 ATS, over 2-3. Yeah, 2-3.
Okay.
So, just give me a Pelicans team total over. I'm really concerned about Charlotte.
Yeah,
because it just doesn't make sense why they're not.
Team.
Yeah, it doesn't make but it doesn't make sense why they're not good, and so that's actually kind of concerning. Like I understand why the Wizards aren't good. Jordan Poole sucks. So like there's a multiple reasons why the Pistons and the Hornets, not Hornets, and the Spurs aren't good. I don't know why Charlotte's not good. Maybe it's the coach. I have no idea why Charlotte's not good. All right. Let's see. Before we get to next game of slate, gotta talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. Look, I told you at the top of the show, we just cashed another 6-1 3-pick contest in Underdog. We had the Alfred Sengun. Shout out to the Hook, by the way. Shout out to the Hook. Sengun, we got at the Hook 10.5. He had 10. We had Miles Bridges. He had 19. We had him at 19.5. We got the higher and the lower on Sengun and Bridges. I mean, we're good. We're rolling 6-1. That saved the day right there. Underdog, you gotta play Underdog. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. All right, let's move on. Next game of the slate, we got the Indiana Pacers on the road. Once again, going to play the Washington Wizards, Virginia Wizards, whatever we want to call them. Open up -8 now, currently -8.5. 259.5 is the total injury report we have for these two teams. And for the Pacers, Jalen Smith, Andrew Nembhard, both not playing in this game. For the Wizards, you have Jordan Poole questionable, Landry Shamet's out, Johnny Davis, Elon Wright, Ryan Robbins all out. Is there any chance Indiana runs away with another game ball in this one?
I think that they are going to win the game. I don't know who's going to get the game ball at the end of it, but probably not Giannis. So I'm going to lean to the Pacers in this one. At the end of the day,
that's hilarious. I think that's hilarious how they're the road team and they lost and they had rights over the game ball.
That's definitely something. But shout out to Giannis for
how
what do you have
against 64? And you lost and you get the game ball. What?
Yeah.
What
was the exact number again? 64, I think.
Yes.
I saw that there was also a pretty funny comment on Twitter that Sheboy actually scored in the in-season tournament final against the Lakers.
He did.
Yeah, but it doesn't count as an actual game. So
it doesn't count as an actual point. Anyway. So they didn't take that game ball. They took the one that Giannis scored 64 at a franchise record, and Dame became 5th all time in 3-point scoring. But Oscar Tshiebwe gets the game ball.
Yeah, that whole situation was pretty weird, but I didn't really care one way or another who got the game ball. I just thought it was amusing. But
I thought it was hilarious that Tyrese Halliburton is disgusted. Bro, why am I the one getting yelled at?
Now, the funny part about the Pacers situation was that they signed James Johnson in case it happens again.
Oh, yeah, they definitely signed James Johnson to whoop Bobby Portis' ass. Like, that is literally the only reason he's on the team. Hey, Bobby Portis, you go handle him.
So he's going to be the enforcer / Halliburton bodyguard for the rest of the season.
The Wizards have no chance with James Johnson on this team.
Yeah, but either way, point is I do think that the Pacers are going to win the game. The question is, do you trust them enough since they don't guard anybody to actually cover 8.5? I think I do because the Wizards are just a worse version of this team by a significant margin. Like, if I had to power rank the teams that play similarly, Pacers are up here, Hawks are in the middle over here, and the Wizards are way at the bottom because they're a bunch of guards who really are
No,
inefficient at both
Scott.
that. So
It's Pacers here, it's Hawks here, it's whale poop, and then there's the Wizards.
So I had them way down, yes. But the point is the Wizards like to play up tempo, but they're probably the worst in the entire league at playing up tempo, so it doesn't really matter. The total tells you everything you need to know about this game because it's at 259.5, and it went up a point and a half. I think it was at 258 last night. They've given up 140 plus points in each of the last 2 games the Wizards have. The Pacers, I know they lost to Milwaukee, but luckily last time I checked, the Wizards don't have Giannis on their team, so they don't have a freight train going down the lane. I like Indiana because I think they might score 150 in this game, and I don't think I'm exaggerating. Like, their team totals in the 130s, which I do not see that often. I think they're going to go over. This is a great game to go to if you like to see chaos, but I like the Pacers here. I think that they're going to be able to score a bunch of points. The Wizards offensively have not been as good lately, so I do think that you're looking at, simply put, the Wizards trying to keep pace, but failing miserably. Halliburton might go for 30 and 15. He might go for 20 and 20. Really, any stat line imaginable is possible for Halliburton in this game. But I'm going to lean to the Pacers, but I actually like the team total over. I like 132.5. I think they get to 140. It's been back-to-back games of 140 points allowed. So I think you're looking at the Pacers getting whatever they want. They'll be motivated after. They kind of got embarrassed by that whole Giannis thing. I think they respond well. Give me the Pacers in the over. You. Yeah.
I mean, it's really nothing else to say here. This Wizards team really sucks.
There's
man.
3 teams that he can't really back right now. He can't back the Pistons, he can't back the Spurs, and he can't back the Wizards. That's basically it. You have 3 of the worst teams I've ever seen in one season.
Which is like actually hilarious because the Wizards are 10 and 11 ATS this season.
It's not as bad.
No, it's actually pretty. It's actually like not terrible. It's not terrible. But however, they're 2 and 6 at home.
Yeah.
So it's very easy. I'm going Pacers here. I'm sorry, on other games still. I'm going Pacers here, and I'm with you. I like a big Halliburton game. I think we just ladder Halliburton assists. Like the defense is so bad. Halliburton is going to pick them apart. And
the only concern is
I
if
can
they
see
get
it's
absolutely routed. Game. Yeah, if they get routed, then Halliburton might not play the 4th, but I do think that he's going to put together a great game. So I like the Halliburton assists. I like Mathurin in this game. I think Mathurin's in line for a good performance. His prop opened up at like 13.5. Now it's at 15.5, so there's been a lot of steam towards his over. I still like it. Mathurin in the last couple of games has done well, and he's done very well against the Wizards. He's gone over this number in 4 of his 5 career games against the Wizards. He's attempted at least 8 free throws in each of the last 3 games, and the Wizards are allowing the most bench points in the entire league. So Mathurin, I think, can run this bench unit. I think that he's in line to once again go to the rim a lot. The Wizards have no rim protection at all. I like Mathurin to potentially break 20 in this game.
Yeah, I had Mathurin written down as well, just of his ability to, like you said, ability to get to the rim. And you look at the Wizards and what they're doing inside of opponent points in the paint over the past 5 games. They are tied for bottom of the league with, ironically, the Indiana Pacers and the Portland Trailblazers. So that's a reason why I am not afraid of this total being 259.5, because neither one of these 2 teams can guard inside of the paint. And so if you're going to get a bunch of easy paint points, you're going to pull a total forward. So yeah, I expect 260 points in this game. I expect more than 260 points in this game. I think that this is a heavy score game. This is your same game parlay of the day where you go and you get a whole bunch of different players overs. You get the Halley assists, you get the Mathurin points, you get all of this other stuff, and you put it together, and you're going to have a winning same game parlay today. So I'm all over the over in this one, 259.5. And it's really off of the fact that neither one of these teams can stop the easy points. All right. Anything else here?
No, not really. I just see a fun game.
All right. This is time. The Detroit Pistons. What is it, 20? Is it 20 or 21?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Is it 20 games lost in a row or 21 games lost in a row? Something like that. I think it's
The
20.
Pistons, I think we're at 21.
Right,
But
21.
I got to confirm that. I think we're at 21.
I'm pretty sure we're at 21. Great. 21 is a great number. Detroit Pistons are going on the road to the Philadelphia 76ers. This is the first game of our back-to-back series of this Friday.
It is 21, by the way.
It is 21. Great.
Yeah.
Amazing. That makes this point even better. Minus 16 for the Philadelphia 76ers. That's actually down from 16.5 to 34.5 is the total. Injury report. And we have for Philadelphia, nothing to report. For the Detroit Pistons, Marvin Bagley is out. Duren is injured.
Every now and then I forget Marvin Bagley exists. Every now and then.
The Undertaker was 21-0 when he went to WrestleMania. Until he ran.
So you're calling for the win here.
Okay. Until he ran into Brock freaking Lesnar. Bro, it's gotta end at some point. It's gotta end. And it's gonna end in the most unlikely situation. I just know it. I know it. It's gonna be this is the most unlikely situation for it to end. When I look at going for if it's not here, they're getting the record. If it's not here, they're getting the record. Because after what I saw Utah do to the Portland last night, if it's not here, they're getting the record.
So what's the money line at? Like 8-1, 10-1?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you going full?
I will say, I have hit a Pistons 6-1 money line before. Haven't gotten 8-1. I got 6-1.
You're trying to one up yourself.
Hey man, I am. And you know what? Everybody said I was crazy when I picked the Pistons over the Jazz that time, and they did it, and they won outright on the road. So, Philadelphia, you just beat this team by 18, but it felt like 30.
Yeah.
How do you get up for this? How do you get up for this? You don't get up for this. You just go and you coast and you think you got it all under control, and they hang around on the road and they're a little pissed. And then I don't know, something happens. I said it. I'm going to stick with it, even though it looks terrible right now. It looks horrible right now. I'm going to stick with it that Philadelphia doesn't care about this Pistons team enough to win convincingly 2 games in a row.
So I understand the angle you're trying to make. I respect the ballsiness of taking the Pistons. I'm not going to go that far to take them on the money line because I think I just think Embiid's too good. I think Embiid can get whatever he wants against this team, and it's a free 35 points, 40 points if he wants it. Having said that, I'll take the Pistons plus the points. 15.5's a lot on the road. It's a lot, especially for an immediate backup spot. Now, the Sixers kind of play with their food when they go up a lot anyway in the third quarter, so the fourth quarter they might let the Pistons backdoor this thing. Yep. 15.5's a lot of points for a road team, so I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to lean to Detroit in the spot plus the points. I'm not taking them to win the game because I just think that the Sixers are one of the worst matchups possible for this Pistons team. They commit basically the worst. They commit basically the most fouls per game in the league, and you're against Embiid. And the Sixers attempt the most free throws per game in the league. So it's a really bad matchup.
I made an underdog lineup after the show, and I put Embiid higher than 10 free throws up there, and I didn't sweat.
Yeah. I had the team total over for the Sixers last time at like 123.5. They got to 129. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I like the over, but I do think the Pistons will look better than they did in the first game about a day or two ago. I'm not picking them to win. Give me Philly by 12. 15.5 for a road team is just massive. That I can't do.
Come on, Detroit. Just get one. And then you can go lose again. Just get one. This team sucks.
They're so bad.
They're so bad, but it's fun. It's fun. Like, come on now. You got to think. Because people are going to, and I know people are going to go sit here like, oh, Rail's a terrible capper. He picked the Pistons over the 76ers, blah, 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 blah.
I don't know. I don't think of any other capper that would actually take the Pistons money line.
Like, come on.
So
have some fun.
I'm not going to roast you for being, like willing to die on the sword. Like, I respect it. I'm not going as far, but I think the spread's pretty large. The spread's massive.
All these losing streaks in the NBA, and all these chances to win. Like, go out there and try to get a big money line win. Like, come on, stop being scared. That's what I hate about the gambling community. Everybody's scared of losing. Like, come on, you're probably gonna lose if you do your best. You could handicap everything, go sit there on your little computer. Oh, look, the analytics saying addition. I'm gonna do it because the analytics go like this. Who cares? This is fun. This is for fun. I'm not out here putting my house on it. I'm just saying, man, I'm gonna throw $10 on the 76ers on the Pistons because golly, they got to win a game at some point. Have fun.
That's what they want you to think. They want you to think they can win a game at some point. But yeah, once again, I acknowledge how bad this Pistons team is. I feel like everybody's been on it since the first week and a half of the season. But I gotta just assume at some point the Sixers are gonna get bored. And maybe they're going to look at themselves and go, we just beat this team by like 20. So I'll take the points. I'm not taking the money line. I'm not going to try to predict when the Pistons' losing streak is going to end. I'll just keep fading this team in different ways. But I do think that the line's pretty large for a team that.
I'll tell you right now, if it's not today, they're getting the record. They're getting the record if it's not today.
Well, I already went through the schedule. I think they play Milwaukee after this.
Yes.
So they
might play. I've been studying the schedule for a while because I've been trying to figure out when I was gonna fade them, when I was gonna back them. And so Milwaukee is next on the road, which actually Detroit has had some pretty good games in Milwaukee. So I had that on my list too, it being the game that they actually finally win. Then they play Atlanta. Atlanta's bad enough at home to actually lose that one, but it didn't feel like the money line would be big enough in that one that I'd be interested in, especially not the Utah one. That's going to be like -2, -3. Like, that's not going to be a fun money line at all. And then you got a back-to-back set against Brooklyn around Christmas. So they're getting a record if it's not this one. Come on now. Come on, Detroit. Come on, Detroit. All right. Anything else? 234.5 is total. Anything?
I'm gonna lean over in this one. I still think Philly's gonna get theirs. I just think maybe defensively they lose interest and Detroit can score a bit.
I cashed out that over in the first one.
Yeah, because Philly carries it. Philly scored 129 last game. Like,
yeah, that's why I'm going under.
And Philly buries them. They're still probably reaching 130. So there's a couple ways to get this over.
Yeah, I'm going under because it went over last time. We cashed that and Philly destroyed them. So hopefully it goes under and Detroit wins. I don't know. I'm really pulling for Detroit, man. I want this thing to be over. This is terrible.
I don't know. It's kind of funny to me.
Yeah, it's funny, but like, it's
sad. 21? I like how in the Monty Williams and Ayton beef, both of them were right because both of them are pretty sorry at times. I do find that kind of funny. The Ayton and Monty Williams beef, both sides look terrible ever since they split up, which I do find pretty funny.
You guys actually should be together because that's the only time it worked out.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. We have the second game of our back-to-back series today. We have the Atlanta Hawks. Oh, wait, before we do that, got to talk to you about Hall of Fame bets, sports betting analytics platform, parlays, player props, and game lines. You can research with historical stats and data for the NFL, NBA, soccer, all of this other stuff. You have a revolutionary parlay optimizer tool where you can. I kind of sounded. Oh, what was that? Parlay. I didn't like how I said parlay at first. I don't know. It was just. It might have been. I don't know what that was. Parlay optimizer tool. Yeah, that sounded really weird there, but. Either way, probably optimize to it. Really great because all you want is green. Look at that left side of the screen. Look at all the green over there, man. Look at all that green. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users. Researching with Hall of Fame bets. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit HOPenybets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start researching. Start winning with Hall of Fame bets. Atlanta Hawks still in Toronto, playing the Toronto Raptors. Raptors are laying 2 here. Line open up -2.5. Oh, okay, great. Line open up -2.5 is Raptors -2. 241.5 is the total in this one. Injury report for these two teams, and we have.
It's a deja vu game, by the way.
Yes, it is. It is. I said a second of our deja vu series here. DeAndre Ayton, not Ayton. Yeah, we were just talking about DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Hunter, questionable. AJ Griffin's out, no Jalen Johnson. And for the Raptors, nothing to report. These two teams played in the first game of our Deja Vu series on Wednesday, where the Raptors went and got the win 135-128. going over the total of 240.5, covering the line of -2.5. I think we both took the Raptors that first time around.
I actually leaned to Atlanta.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But I like the over. Yeah, I thought Atlanta had too much talent in the backcourt. I thought they'd find a way to win.
So can we be here together on Atlanta today in the automatic rematch?
Well, how do you usually approach rematches? Do you just assume
Yeah,
that they
take the other
split
side.
most of the time?
Yeah. I assume they split most of the time. Like, I really do. I assume they split most of the time. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but how I play it for the split, unless it's the Celtics. And they're actually about to have a back-to-back series coming up. We're about to talk about that soon.
Well, I'm going to ask, though, since you usually play for the split in these games, the Hawks did lose the first one. So
yeah,
are you going
so
back
I'm on the
to
Hawks
Atlanta?
here. Yeah, I'm on the Hawks here. I mean, I'm not going back to Atlanta because I was on Toronto the first time.
Yeah, sorry.
But
yeah, I was on
I'm on. Hey, Parlay Ray. Yes, sir.
My favorite play was the over, so the over got there easily. So I like the over again in this game. I don't see much defense being played, but yeah, Toronto, it's tricky because Atlanta, you can say that they need this game, but they've needed so many games this year. They're just not very good. Like they're just not very good. I feel you can say that these teams are pretty comparable, but I guess the question that I had for you with Jalen Johnson being out and with the weapons that Atlanta's missing. Is Toronto just a bad matchup because Siakam and Barnes, I kind of mentioned it in the preview of the last game. I picked Atlanta anyway, but I said Toronto can give this team issues because they're pretty versatile. The fact with Siakam and Barnes, I think both of them had double-doubles in that game. I just question if Atlanta can match the versatility that Toronto has, and it turns out in the first game they couldn't because both of them had 10-plus rebounds, they both had great stat lines, and they kind of carried the team. I get the point of Atlanta wanting to get revenge on what just happened. I just can't trust Atlanta. I tried to make a shot at it. It didn't work out, but Atlanta's a team that I just don't know what they're really good at. So I'll lean Toronto in the spot. I don't feel great about it, but the Hawks are, what are they, like 1-9 in the last 10? They've fallen off a cliff. They've lost 5 straight. They've just been really bad.
You want to play a game?
Sure. What game you have in mind?
Let's play. What ref is it?
Oh,
because
nice.
we have a Scott Foster sighting in this game. Very
By the way,
random.
they're 1-7 straight up in their last 8. So
very random Scott Foster sighting, but nonetheless, it is a Scott Foster sighting. No, so here's my reason of why I'm on Atlanta. I think that Toronto was way too efficient for my liking.
Okay.
Way too efficient for my liking. You look at, because Atlanta had a really good game, and there was multiple times in that game where I'm like, dang, I think I made the wrong mistake going with Toronto. Because you talk about, the versatility of Toronto and Barnes and Jakob having a double-double. No, Siakam has 33, 7-7. But, I mean, that's still a really good
he still had a great game. Sorry.
Yeah, still had a great game, for sure. But, I mean, look at the Hawks side of the ball. Hawks, Sadiq Bey had a double-double, an actual double-double. And Clint Capella, he's double-double machine for sure. Trey gave you 35 and 17. DeJounte Murray gave you 20. Bogdanovich gave you 20. Like, they had all this really good production.
How
and they didn't really shoot the ball that well.
That game?
Exactly. Because they shot 48% from the field.
Okay.
Because they shot 48% from the field. And the reason that they won the game is because Toronto was way too efficient. Toronto shot 57.7% from the field, 52.9% from 3. I don't care how bad your defense is. I'm not backing you to do that 2 games in a row.
Okay.
I'm not.
Fair point.
I'm not backing you to do that 2 games in a row. That is way too efficient. Like, way too efficient. Even for a bad defense, that is way too efficient. And this game was close down to the wire. I think the spread is right. That is going to be a very close game. But I'm taking the dog in the back-to-back game set because I think that Toronto's going to come back down to life a little bit. And I think that there's room for Atlanta to play slightly better than what they did. Like, so, yeah, I'm all over Atlanta here. I think this is a good spot to take the reverse angle and come back and take the dog.
I think you make some good points, but with Atlanta, I might have just thrown the towel on this team. I just can't do it. This team's too frustrating to me. I mean, you mentioned the stats for Atlanta and how Toronto shot the ball just crazily from the field. But I mean, you said Trey had 30 and 17. Like Bogdanovich had 20. They had a double-double. Capella had a double-double, and they still lost the game. Like, I don't know what more you want. I don't know what more you want offensively from this
Bro,
team.
if they do that,
lost the game.
like, okay, I don't expect Atlanta, and that's why I'm actually on the under.
Okay.
That's why I'm on the under.
Serious regression in the spot. Okay.
Yeah, man. Like, come on, these two teams were like, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I know.
There's no way these stat lines
kept going. I thought it was going to be like, all right, there's like 2 good games. It's like, no, 7 guys had great games in that one. It's like, all right,
this isn't going to happen again. This game is going under. This is one of my favorite under games in the back-to-back series because of the fact that the first game was just too good that there's no way they come back and repeat this. There's no way. I don't believe it. I will fade it.
It might be a blind lean on the over for me because I think I've just decided that if I blindly bet Atlanta overs for the rest of the season, I'll probably make money. So I'm just going to lean to the over in their games.
I felt you are. I have the same thought process about my trends, so I'm with you. All right, props. Anything you like?
I like the overs for everybody. I'm trying to think of what I want here.
I mean everybody cashed them last game.
I was going to say Trey PA, I think is worth a look, points and assists, because I think he might have a monster game again. If you think Atlanta's going to win, Trey's going to go crazy. Like, I think that's how they have to win games. So
I think Trey is, of everybody I listed, I think Trey is more likely to continue and to have his game again. Of all the good games for Atlanta, I think Trey is more likely to have his good game again.
Yeah, I've mentioned it before, but I still like Scotty Barnes' PRA. He's been great at the PRA line all year long, and I do think that he's a bad matchup problem for Atlanta to deal with. So I like Barnes' PRA too. I think he's in line for a good game.
All right, let's see here. Where is freaking Bogdanovich from? Because it's not Earth. He's not Earth. It's not Earth. He's not from Earth. He's not from Earth.
Well, recently he's gone nuclear, but
he's alien. Yo, past 4 games. 20-20, 40-20.
Yeah.
20,
he's gone nuts.
40-20.
Yeah. I wonder if Atlanta ships him off. If the team doesn't turn around, I'm curious if they ship him off or not. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, man. It feels like Atlanta needs one thing and then they're going to be good. But I don't know what that one thing is because it's just like they look bad doing a lot of things right now.
I don't think him and DeJounte work at all. I think that's the main issue with this team. I think the backcourt just clashes more often than it flows, in my opinion. So I don't agree with the marriage right now with that backcourt. I just think that they need to change it.
Let's see if we have a line on Bogdanovich yet.
He's a bench player. So
yeah, he's a bench player.
But
yeah, he's a bench player, so we don't got it. But just whatever it is, I'm taking the over. I'm sorry. Yeah. 20-20, 40-20, I can't ignore. I can't ignore. Casey said they need to trade Murray for Siakam.
They need both these teams need to make a move at some point. I'm not sure if Bogdanovich for Siakam really makes any sense for Toronto. They need draft capital. The only problem is
at this point,
does Atlanta have any draft capital? They used half of it for DeJounte Murray. Like I don't think that these teams can actually trade with each other. Toronto, I've been calling for a full-scale rebuild for like 2 years. So yes, you can get Bogdanovich some young players. I'm not sure if that matters. I think Toronto kind of needs to start from scratch, in my opinion. I think Toronto needs draft picks. They should trade away most of their main pieces. I would keep Barnes. Barnes I'd keep. I think Barnes is the guy you want to build around. But Siakam, I think, is kind of overstayed his welcome a bit. You can argue that Schroeder is a good flip candidate when they signed him during the offseason. I think Toronto needs to start from scratch, but I would keep Barnes. I think Barnes good enough to build around for the rest of your future, in my opinion.
I just think
Atlanta needs to reinvent the entire roster. Like, not even for tanking purposes, but
if you're not getting a superstar, I really don't think you need to be trading anything because you're not going to do anything.
I just think Toronto needs to build through the draft again. They've been very good at it for years of building through the draft. I think they kind of need to start from scratch, but that's my opinion.
All right. We have the third game in our Deja Vu series here. Los Angeles Lakers traveling on the road, go play the San Antonio Spurs. Lakers open up -4. It's currently sitting at -7.5. 234 is the total. These two teams played on Wednesday in the first game of our Deja Vu series, and Lakers won 122-119. But however, I would like to tell you that score is not indicative of how bad the Spurs looked for majority of that game.
They were up 20 in the fourth quarter.
Like, that score is not indicative of how bad the Spurs looked in that game. It's not at all. It's actually a very, very misleading.
The Spurs got
LeBron James
for about 40 minutes.
LeBron James Anthony Davis, Torian Prince are all questionable. Jaron Vanderbilt is probable. Jalen Hood Schifino's out. Gabe Vincent's out for the Spurs. Yeah, nothing really to report there. Lakers minus 7.5.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, though, because I think we'd agree if LeBron and AD playing, we're taking the Lakers.
Yes.
If we assume LeBron's going to play in this game because he sat the last game out, do you think that increases the chances AD doesn't play? Or do you think that's completely independent and it doesn't matter?
I think it's independent.
Okay. So let's assume that LeBron's
it was the same
play.
conversation we had last time and why AD ended up playing. It was a nationally televised game. Granted, it was, the weak nationally televised game. And, well, actually, honestly, it is the
NBA TV is kind of like a 50-50 if you want to count that as nationally televised or not.
Yeah. But so regardless, they played AD because it was nationally televised. I think he really did want to sit AD. So there is a chance that AD does sit here and LeBron plays and they still, don't get chewed out for sitting people in a nationally televised game. But I think AD plays and I think Bron plays. And that's why I'm taking the Lakers minus 7.5.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, though. I'm assuming LeBron is going to play because LeBron's not that injured. I think they just rested him. Let's assume that they flip-flop. Let's assume LeBron sat game 1. He's going to play game 2. AD played game 1. He'll sit game 2.
Okay.
Do you still like the Lakers minus 7.5 if AD doesn't play, but LeBron does?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, we can't give official picks until we know what the story is with the injuries with the Lakers, but I'm assuming LeBron is going to play. AD is not. That's my guess.
The only way you could get me on the Spurs in this game is if I don't have Bron or AD again. Even though AD played that one. But if I don't get Bron or AD, then I'll be on the San Antonio. But other than that, it was really bad. Like they were getting steamrolled. Like it was ugly. And I can't get that out of my mind.
I think they just got bored. And the Spurs played tough. They were a young team that was motivated. I know Wemby had a great game, though. So Wemby can still get the rebounds and the blocks. I think he's in line to look sharp, but I can't take the Spurs. I said before, I'm not going to back the Spurs or the Pistons until they win a game. And I've been waiting for about 2 weeks. So I can't take the Spurs here. I'll lean to the Lakers. If I do want to take the Spurs, I would take like a team total over, or maybe just the over in this game, because I think the Lakers will still get whatever they want. I just think that the Spurs are kind of a lost cause at this point. Wemby's padding his numbers. They switched him to center. It's been working out well for him. So if you want to back the Spurs, take Wemby props. Because if they want to win, they need Wemby to go for basically 20 and 18 in every game he plays. But
I really want it. I mean, I guess if you're on the Spurs, you're just basically going off of that fourth quarter and you're basically saying my same handicap for the Pistons in that the Spurs team is so bad that the Lakers just truly don't care. Like they just don't care and they end up folding. But I think we just saying that this is what this Lakers team does. They beat up on the bad teams. Like they never beat the good teams. They always beat the bad teams. That's why I couldn't get there with the Lakers and I got there. I couldn't get there with the Spurs and I got there with the Pistons. This Lakers team just continuously wins against bad teams and loses against good teams. So,
and the Spurs lose to everybody. So there you go.
Yeah. All right.
Just being honest, they've lost like 18 straight. So there you go.
I guess I'm still on over. And my guy's been a little slow recently, but always means it's time for a bounce back. Them sell points over. Wemby, he still got those rebounds. Did he get it? I think he got it.
He went over the default. Unfortunately, I gave him out
for 15
plus, and he finished with 13. But
yeah.
He had a shot at overtime, but he missed the free throw. So, and then he stuck his leg out in the 3-point attempt to get an offensive foul. So he had a shot at it, but he didn't get there. 5 blocks though, or 6 blocks. Shout out to Wemby for the blocks.
All right. Yeah. I might can get behind Wemby blocks again because you shouted out his blocks last time and you made a good point of this Lakers team is terrible at jump shooting. So
yeah,
like Wemby's gonna have opportunity.
For Wemby in this
game.
game.
I like it too. That was a good call out by you. I remember you saying that, and I was thinking about it when I was watching the game. Yeah, I'm with you. Wemby blocks. I'll play that again today too. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and get the people aligned on that because he had 5 that last game, and he might not have 5, but I'm pretty sure the line's probably at 2.5. I think he could get another. He could get to 3 again. Let's see here. Defensive props, blocks. Yeah, Wemby's at Ew. Oh, I'm not.
It's gonna be.
I don't
It's
wanna...
gonna be massive. It might be a 3.5 at this point.
No, it's
gonna be
2.5, but it's
okay.
minus 150. Like, I'm not laying that.
Okay. I was saying so
For a
3.5 is the
block
only one
spot.
that you'd like value on for that.
Yeah,
So
3.5 is the only thing I would like value on. Yeah.
if I was going to take it, I might just take an alt. If you want to go for 5 again, it probably a big plus price. I don't mind that.
The Boston Celtics are welcoming the Orlando Magic to TD Garden. They are 5.5-point favorites. They are coming off of a back-to-back where they just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the total's at 224.5. Injury report for these two teams. And we have... where is Boston? There we go. Can't really tell you anything, but Luke Cornett is on there as TBD. Jaylen Brown was questionable with an ankle injury before that game, so we'll see if he goes in the back-to-back. But he was questionable with an ankle injury before the game and then goes and has a pretty good game. Which, if you're questionable, if that person's questionable and they play, they're having a good game. It always happens. Markelle Fultz is questionable. Wendell Carter's still out. So this is actually the first time. Is this the first? Yeah, this is the first time Markelle Fultz has been questionable in a while. This is an upgrade for him. So we could see a return from Markelle Fultz today. All right. I would be remiss. Is that the word? What's the word?
I think it's just remiss. Remiss. I don't think that there's an E and a D.
There's no D.
Yeah,
no D.
Remiss. I think it's just remiss.
Okay, remiss. If I did point out the fact that the Orlando Magic have won 4 of the last 5 against the Boston Celtics. They covered and won as a 13-point dog. They covered and won as a 10.5-point dog. They covered and won as a 7.5-point dog. They covered and won as a 5.5-point dog. They did not cover and win one game against the Boston Celtics out of the last 5.
I think we're just going to agree on this game so we can kind of get this out of the way.
Sometimes the team has your number, man. Hey, man, sometimes the team has your number. I mean, hey, this Orlando team, 16-6 against the spread this season, 6-4 on the road, 9-5 as a dog. We could talk about the first half. I know it's been a little up and down recently, but there's still a pretty good first half team. This Boston Celtics team's coming off a back-to-back, and not only a back-to-back, but a back-to-back series against the Cavs. So 2 physical, tough games against the Cavs where they come out and get wins, and now they got to play 2 games against the Orlando in this building where Orlando has come and won. Boston getting 88% of bets, says Patio. I don't know, man. This seems like it. 9-10-2 against the spread for the Boston Celtics this season. I mean, it's clear. It's clear I'm taking Orlando, but I'm betting Orlando today.
I'm taking Orlando too. You mentioned the head-to-head numbers. They have done very well against the Celtics, but it's mostly the scheduling spot as well. Boston's on a back-to-back. They have some questionable players. I expect them to beat Cleveland yesterday, so I wasn't totally shocked by that. I also am just not that high on Cleveland. But Orlando's a team I am high on. I think this team's good. They're very solid defensively. But the fact that they've owned this team recently and the fact that they have extra rest compared to Boston, I like the 6.5 a lot. 6.5 is too many points for me. I'll take Orlando. They might win the game. So I think Orlando's got value.
I think they do. I think Orlando first half is the play you got to make. I think they win the first half. And we'll see, because Orlando sometimes has folded in the fourth quarter, and that's really pissed me off. But that's the only thing that I fought about this Orlando team. There's a bunch of times that I've seen them in the fourth quarter just fold games away, and it's perfectly fine. And if you're a Celtics supporter, maybe that's the way you play it. So, Orlando first half, Celtics for the money line. But I think that there's just a team that just has your number. And Kaysen said it in the chat. And for those that are not on youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast, Magic got held out of the cup tourney because Boston had the better point differential, even though the Magic beat them head to head. I thought that was crazy. I thought that the Magic deserved a chance to go to
I think the point differential tiebreaker is one of the things they have to fix. But
yeah,
they'll
even over head to head. I think that's crazy. That is over head to head. Head to head's got to be above that.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I think head to head is first, but it was a 3-way tie. I think that's why it came down to point differential. I think the Nets are actually the reason why the Magic got eliminated. Because the Nets beat the Magic, they lost to the Celtics, but they were all 3 or 4-1. I think the Nets are the reason why they didn't get in.
Still stupid. Whatever. All right. Get in on YouTube and get on YouTube and get in the chat, says Kaysen. Patio says people sleep on the chat. Revenge spot for the Celtics, says Freaky Tiki. Hey, man, it is. I'll give you that. It is a revenge spot. But you could also argue it's a revenge spot for Orlando. And plus, whenever you expect Boston to really, really get it done, they never get it done, ever.
I feel like I care about revenge spots when I know for a fact the other team fully cares. The fact that Brown's questionable and they played yesterday, I don't think Boston.
Oh, so is he official? I didn't see he was questionable. Is he officially questionable? He was questionable before the game, so I just assume he's not going to play.
I assumed he was questionable. Yeah, he's questionable, and Horford might not play either. So,
well, yeah, Horford's just old man Jenkins.
So. He's old as dirt. But still, the point is, Boston. I think they're more focused on keeping their guys healthy than actually getting revenge in this spot. So,
and they play them back to back.
Yeah,
taking Orlando both times. All right, here we go. 224.5 is total.
I kind of like the under in this game. I just think both teams defensively are really good.
Yeah, but what's Orlando defensively like on the road? Let me look that up.
I don't know that.
I think that's the thing I'm curious about, because we know Orlando to be like a really, really good home team, and it doesn't look like it's that much of a drop off to how they play on the road. But I'm just curious on what their opponents are scoring in the last 5 games of their last 5 road games. So let me go road games. Let's see here. There we go. All right. So Orlando on the road. Yeah, it's worse. It's significantly worse. Let me just look up the whole season and see how that's been going for them. All right. Okay. All right. That filter, that was the wrong filter, but it's not significantly worse. They're all right. They're still top 10. All right. I can get down on under. Hopefully it's competitive. Props. You start your centers against the Celtics. And so Batazzi, he's actually been playing really well too, believe it or not. But is it Batazzi? Because I said it was Batazzi last time, and then Mo Wagner has a legacy game against the Celtics, and it really, really hurt me because everything I wanted Batazzi to do, Mo Wagner did.
I don't know if I can count Batazzi as a full starting center because his minutes are kind of capped in the mid-20s. So it's not really like he's going to be getting serious run throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I'm going back to Wagner. Screw
Which
Batazzi.
one?
Mo Wagner.
The center. Okay,
you start your centers. Yeah, you start your centers against Celtics.
I'm not sure going to get props on Mo until right before the game. I don't mind Franz for rebounds, but I think Banchero is a good game too. But I do think if Orlando's going to win, they kind of need to rely on the star power. We know that if Fultz does play, he's not exactly known for being a great shooter by any means. He's gotten better.
Oh, no, it's Banchero and Franz Wagner is the star power. That's the star power. Everybody stop talking. I hate the disrespect that Franz Wagner gets. What is his points prop at? If it's not at 19.5, he's being disrespected. I don't know what's his points prop at. If it's not 19.5, he's being disrespected. It is 19.5. Okay, so he's not being disrespected.
Okay.
Because he's a 20-point per game scorer, and nobody talks about it. I think actually he and Paolo are averaging the same. But because it's Paolo and Paolo, number 1 overall pick, all that, they don't talk about Franz.
I think I'm just going to go back to Derek White points in this one. It's gotten bumped up to 14.5, but he's been really good. I've been giving him out for a couple days, and he keeps cashing. So I like Derek White. I think he's in line to go over the threes. I know that once again, if Brown doesn't play, they're going to have to reinvent the lineup a little bit, but that could mean more ball handling responsibility for Derek White if Brown is out, and he's been very good. So I'll take Derek White to keep rolling.
I am going back to. Wait, where's my props? There we go. Just need to get where's my defensive steals? No, I don't see Suggs steals up here. Okay. Well, I'm just have to wait. But yeah, I'll be on Jalen Suggs steals again, especially if Brown plays 100% on his steals again. And I think I like Jason Tatum today.
That's not exactly a hot take, but yeah, okay.
No, it's a hot take for me.
Okay, that's fair.
But here's the reason. Here's the reason that I think I like Tatum today is because when I watched that last game, I was so frustrated because they kept putting Jalen Suggs, who is a great defender. I understand he's a great defender. he's got nothing for Jason Tatum. He doesn't have anything for Jason Tatum. He played, like, literally, I was watching that game. I'm like, man, that was great defense by Suggs, but Tatum scored again.
Truth is, I think the guy to potentially guard Tatum would be Jonathan Isaac if you trust him to give him a bunch of minutes.
No, but it's not. It's not. I watched the whole last game. It was Suggs the entire game, and it was very frustrating because it's like, yo, I think it's because I had betted steals problem. I'm like, yo, take him off and put him on Jaylen Brown. And then they put Suggs on Jaylen Brown one possession, and Suggs got a steal. I'm like, come on. Like, just let Jason Tatum get his, stop everybody else, win the game. That's how they win. Let Jason Tatum get his, stop everybody else, win the game. So I like Jason Tatum to go over his points per day. All right. Let's see here. This is the final game of our Deja Vu series. And it's the one I like the most. I'm not going to lie. We have the Houston Rockets traveling to Memphis to play the Memphis Grizzlies. Rockets open up -4.5. It's currently -3.5. 212 is the total. They actually went up a point. Injury report for these two teams, and we have for the Houston Rockets, Amen Thompson is questionable with that illness. Victor Oladipo still has to put the jersey on. And for the Memphis Grizzlies, Desmond Bane's questionable with an illness. Ja is close to coming back on Tuesday next week. Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, Brandon Clark, Steven Adams. You know about those guys. All right. The Houston Rockets won the first game of the back-to-back series. 117, I believe it was. Yep, 117-104, and covered after closing as a 9.5 point favorite. Holy shit. Scott.
Shout out to Tari Eason, by the way.
Yes. Legacy game. Tari Eason. Yes. Scott. This is it. This is the ultimate flip-flop. Ultimate flip-flop game. Because you have this Houston Rockets team that is 11-1 at home, 1-8 on the road, laying points. I understand that Memphis is equally bad at home. I'm all over Memphis here. The way Jaren Jackson Jr. is playing, and how bad Houston has been on the road. Again, 1-8 on the road.
For the record, Jaren Jackson, by the way, back-to-back 40 pieces.
I mean, how do you back the Rockets here?
So I'm not going to be all over. I'm not going to be all over Memphis in this spot, but I am going to lean to Memphis because I still don't think this is a good team. But
what's the good cues for the Rockets?
What's the what?
What's the good for the Rockets? Well, I guess they're 3-0 as a favorite, so you could say that. So that's something good. Okay, they're 3-0 as a favorite.
I don't know if it's a matter of the good for the Rockets or just how bad Memphis actually is, but they have played better recently. Mostly Jaren Jackson getting his offensive game back on track. I still like Bane as a player. Şengün got benched in that game, and Eason had a legacy game, so you can argue if Eason doesn't have that game, Memphis maybe wins. I'm going to lean Grizzlies. The line's pretty short. It's pretty telling to me because Houston's that bad on the road. I don't feel great about it because Memphis is a team I don't fully trust, but I'm not taking Houston on the road. I can't do it, especially laying points. So I'll agree with you. I'll lean to Memphis. I'm not going to lock it up or anything, but I'll lean to Memphis.
Memphis plus 135 on the money line. Yes. Kaysen says Memphis 5-1 to make the play-in if you think Ja gives the team a jolt. I actually think there's a potential they can make the play-in, but I don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs. Seeing this team without Steven Adams is the thing that they need. They need Ja and Steven Adams. Like they need.
I'm still trying to think of the bottom of the Western Conference for the play-in spots because it's pretty competitive down there.
Well, let's talk about it. So we look here, and I give you the Western Conference standings, and we have over here in the play-in currently the Clippers, the Rockets, the Pelicans, and the Suns.
Okay, and what's the record for the last play-in team right now?
13-11.
And what's Memphis at?
6-17.
So you're probably gonna have to finish around 500 or slightly above.
They are 6.5 games back.
Okay. My point is, though, based on where the last record is, you're assuming the last play-in team has to be somewhere around, if not a little bit over 500.
Yeah, like it's got to be around 500. 5-1.
I recognize how good Ja is, but that's a massive improvement.
5-1. Yeah, that's a massive hole to dig yourself out of, man.
I would agree if you could finish like 5 under and still make the play-in, but this year you can't do that. So I'm going to say no. But it's 5-1. I've seen worse long shot bets. I just don't think they get
Who
there.
falls out? Because Golden State is not in the play-in right now.
I think Golden State's not going to make it. I was actually looking at their odds to miss the playoffs, and it's -200. I think Golden State's screwed, especially with Draymond being out indefinitely. That team's screwed. So Golden State, I think, is going to miss entirely.
Watch that. Ja was out indefinitely, and he ended up missing 8 games.
Yeah, but my point is that it seems like they're using the mental health excuse for Draymond.
Bro, Ja went to counseling for a week.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is we've seen this before. Ja went to counseling for a week. The indefinite suspension was over, and it ended up being 8 games.
I'm just saying with Draymond's history and the mental health aspect that they're using as an excuse for Draymond's actions, he might be out for like a month and change. So I'm not going to try to guess when Draymond's coming back.
We'll see. The jury is out on whose counseling session is longer, Ja or Draymond's.
I'm actually going to lean Draymond in this one. When your coach comes out and says, like, we need to get you help, and you have KD and Nurkic coming out and saying they need to get the guy help, I think you're out for at least a month, in my opinion.
We'll see. All right. Where are we at here? Player props. I mean, I'm just curious on where
I like
J.R.
Jabari
Jackson
Smith
Jr.
a
line
lot
is at
in this matchup. I think Jabari Smith's got a good matchup. He had 20 and 10 last time out. I think that he's been solid. Smith has actually had 10-plus rebounds in 4 straight games. So I like Jabari Smith rebounds in this spot.
Anything for Dylan Brooks coming back to Memphis? Did he come back to Memphis already?
The last game was in Houston, so no. I already
And the
got
game
my
earlier
account.
this season. And the game earlier this season was in Houston. So this
That was
is
in
his
Houston,
first game
yeah.
back in Memphis. Oh, Memphis is 100%. Memphis plus 135 on the money line. I don't care about props. Memphis plus 135 on the money line. They're 100%.
Yeah, it's a parade inside his city. If you're going with Dylan Brooks, but
I'm gonna parade inside my city. Yeah,
I'm gonna lean to Brooks having a decent game, but he's mostly a defensive guy. So I maybe wouldn't mind Brooks steals if you think he has a defensive impact. I'll take the technical fouls if there's a prop for that. I'll take the over. He had one last game, so we'll see what
I
happens.
actually have Fresh Prince of Utah on my computer, but I'm not gonna play it because I'm pretty sure YouTube is gonna get really, really mad at us. But it's a parade inside my city. Yeah,
it's fine. You can play Whoop That Trick instead. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Whoop that trick. Hey, whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. I like it. Oh man, NXT is great. All right. New York Knicks on the road on their West Coast trip, going to play the Phoenix Suns. Suns opened up -5.5. They're actually down to -5.
Oh, they're back home. It's not the West Coast trip. They're back in New York.
No, they're not.
The game in Phoenix?
What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, my bad. I flipped it. Sorry, my bad. Whoops.
Oh,
I flipped it on the graphic. My bad. Sorry.
I was confused. I'm like, what?
No, my bad.
All right.
I accidentally flipped it on the graphic below.
All good. All right. We have what was that? Yeah, -5, 232.5 is total. Injury report for this game, and we have for the New York Knicks, Mitchell Robinson not playing. You have Grayson Allen, questionable. Eric Gordon, questionable. Josh Okogie, out. Damian Lee, out. This looks like it's going to be the second game that the Big Three is going to debut, and they are currently 0-1. Shout out to the Brooklyn Nets last episode.
They cover. All they do is cover, man. Except against Denver, but we're not going to talk about that one.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. It was a back-to-back. It's so fine.
Yeah.
And then, they fired him?
I mean, I don't know how you lose that game.
They fired him?
63-21 and then keep your job. So, yeah. Staley apparently got fired.
Oh, finally. I mean, he couldn't. I hate Staley because he couldn't even do first coach fired right. All right.
Yeah.
Why is everybody... Bro, I do not care about Draymond. Do you not? I literally have a whole segment on this show where I talk about people fighting. I support fighting in the NBA. Nobody understands this. I support fighting.
I
in
don't
the NBA.
support cheap shots. That's kind of my stance. But either way, it doesn't matter.
I support fighting in the NBA. By the way, the Nasses. We'll talk about you later, the Nasses.
He was ready. He was
ready.
Going to,
no, he wasn't. No, he. Oh, we're gonna talk about.
No, I meant he was ready to storm the court. I'm not sure if he would have gotten his ass kicked or not.
Bro, if he made it on that court, he would have stood in front of there and just like stood there, like
so
because he thought somebody was
hold me back. Guys were premeditated. You think he set?
Bro, did you not see? He literally asked them to hold him back.
I'm just asking though. I'm not taking a stance on that. I'm asking.
He did a lot. Okay. Like I'm not gonna lie. There was nobody in front of him when it started to go down. That's my brother. There's no way I'm not getting out there. No way.
I'm going to give Thanasis a little bit of props, though, because he knows, at least in that situation, that his brother gets tackled. He has to at least pretend to fight. He knows his role on the team. I'm going to give him props for that.
Everybody swears I'm a Draymond Green apologist. No, I just actually don't care. Everybody makes a big deal whenever he does this stuff. And it's like, who was it that was just talking about it? Rasheed Wallace was just talking about it. And he was like, bro, that Draymond used to be in our locker room. Like, he used to be in that 04 Pistons locker room because he knew somebody with the owner of the team or something like that. And I'm like, bro, like, this is who Draymond is as a player. Like, bro, if you don't like him, fine, you don't like him. If you like him, fine, you like him. Like, but I just don't care. Like, I truly don't care about whatever
Draymond. The fact
Draymond
that you
Green
just
does.
said Draymond had access to like the locker room with Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace might actually be the least surprising news I've ever heard in my entire
So
life.
he was talking about it. He was
that.
talking about it on, I think it was Gilbert Arenas podcast. He was like, bro, that's our fault. Like how he's acting, completely our fault, because he's seen everything we was talking about and doing in that locker room when he was growing up. And I was like, yeah, wow, really? I didn't know that. But yeah, like he was like, we blame us. Like it's 100% that's why. And I'm like, yeah. So like, am I a Draymond Green apologist? No, but I know Draymond. I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna play dirty a little bit. He's gonna play physical. And like, okay, I'm not surprised that he does this stuff because it's who Draymond Green is. So I mean,
it doesn't matter being surprised.
Give him his suspension and move on. Like, why are we still talking about it? Give a suspension, move on. All right, back to the Knicks though.
Well, I'm going to ask you about the Knicks because they lost to Utah. You know this team better than anybody on the network. Are they usually good on the West Coast trip?
They are, unfortunately, but like they typically do play up. And a lot of the games that, like, there's been games against the Nuggets. I remember there's games when that Clippers team was really good. I remember where they played those teams really, really tough on a road trip, and they might have lost, but they covered. So I think that's why a lot of people are betting the Knicks here, because there's a lot of money that I see on the Knicks here right now. Or maybe it's because people hate KD and they hate Bradley Beal and they think that this big three thing is not going to work out.
Keeping it back is a full-time job, man.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Bradley Keep Bag Beal. I've been pretty bad about his nickname, but I'm sorry, it is Bradley Keep Bag Beal. And so my issue here with the Knicks is that I think they just came to Phoenix at the wrong time. After that Nets game and losing that first game as the big three, losing to the Nets at that, I think Phoenix is locked in for this one. I think they're going to destroy the Knicks.
You have thoughts on the over-under?
Over, because Mitchell Robinson is playing, and this Knicks team just gives up a bunch of points. I mean, I don't know how you bet the Knicks after what they did with freaking Utah, man. Like, that was the only play. They cost us a 14. They cost us a 14-1 parlay, by the way. That parlay I gave out at the end of the day, where it was Milwaukee minus 6.5. It was the over in the Pistons and the 76ers game. It was the Nets on the money line, and then it was Knicks minus 6.5. Knicks only play that did not cash. Like, oh no, I hate this Knicks team. I really do. I hate the Knicks. So give me Phoenix to get it done. It's KD, it's Devin Booker going up against the Knicks. I think they're gonna have a great day.
So I like the over. I am going to point out that Phoenix did beat the Knicks in MSG and Durant didn't play. That was when Booker had that three-pointer on the far side wing, which won the game. But I think I'm going to lean to the Knicks in the spot. I told myself before the season started that I think in the regular season, this trio is not going to work. And a big reason for that, one was health, which we've seen. As Beal's barely played, there's been injuries to most of these guys. Defensively, I just don't think this team can guard anybody. And I think that Beal's an atrocious defender. I'm going to give Booker props because he has gotten better defensively. Mm-hmm. Is he a great defensive player? Not really, but I think he's fine. And Durant's a pretty good help side defender. I'm not sure if he's a good one-on-one defender, but I do think that this defense is going to have some problems with trying to get, especially early on, all these teams accustomed to playing with each other. So for me, I'm going to go with the Knicks plus the 5.5. I do like the over in the game. I think that the Knicks can't guard anybody, and I think the Suns are going to have a hard time guarding anybody. So the over is my favorite play. But the lack of proper chemistry, since they've played one game together, is concerning. And beating Phoenix in the game before that, without Durant, I know, but still, that doesn't tell me anything because Golden State's been a mess. So I am not shocked the Nets won that last game. I'm not surprised that the Suns defensively looked out of sorts. I'm going to lean to the Knicks. I think they clean up on the glass in this game for the most part. But I do think that the Knicks hang in there. I'm going to lean Knicks. I like the over.
If the Suns won that game, would this be a different story in terms of cohesion? And like, if they won, are you still singing the same thing of this Phoenix team just isn't ready?
For me, no, because I going into the season, I told myself I was going to fade this team as soon as they played together for at least the first 10 games together, and so far I'm 1-0. So it took a while. I didn't think I'd wait till December to have my first fade of the big three, but here we are. I just think the Knicks are a team that potentially overlooked the bad Utah team last time out, and I do think they'll be more focused for this one. You could argue the Knicks were looking ahead to this Phoenix game. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We're going to find out. But I just don't trust this Phoenix team defensively with this big three. I also think the Knicks bench is clearly better than the Suns bench. The Suns bench isn't worth a damn. And you mentioned that Gordon might not play, Grayson Allen might not play. A lot of good role players might be out for this team. I'm going to lean to the Josh Harts and the DiVincenzo's to find ways to win the bench minutes. I'm going to go with the Knicks to cover.
Good points. Good points. Anything else? Anything else you got here?
No, not really.
All right. Lock, dog, underdog. Let's see here. For my lock. Orlando first half is tempting. Orlando first half is tempting because I don't think anybody's really like trying to bet that against Boston, but that is technically still a system play, so I shouldn't give that out. So, but I still like Orlando to cover 5.5. Memphis might be my dog. But I like Atlanta too. Should I just go? All right, let's go with the revenge in the back-to-back series. So for my lock, I will go with, how do I want to play this? I'll go with Atlanta +2. I think Atlanta goes back, gets revenge in this spot. Toronto was way too efficient, like way over hyper efficient. I understand Atlanta's defense isn't anything special, but oh my gosh, like 50% from three. It was way too much. Atlanta had a really good game and they still lost. I expect these to be a little bit lower scoring. I think Atlanta can come there and get a win on the road here. So I'll take Atlanta. For my dog, yeah, it's Memphis. Back-to-back game set. Lost the first one, and the team they're playing is 11-1 at home and 1-8 on the road. I'm just going to fade the Houston Rockets on the road and say that. And Dylan Brooks' return to Memphis, it doesn't go any of the way that he'd think it would go. So Memphis, but +135 is kind of cheating. Give me a prop. I need a prop. I don't have any Memphis props actually. Do you see anything from Memphis, or is it just?
Let me see what I got.
I don't think I see
Memphis,
anything.
I don't see anything. I only see Rockets, guys.
This is annoying. Okay, well, I'll give out. I guess I'll give out +135, but I'm at some form of Jaren Jackson Jr.'s over and Memphis winning this game. But in terms of the show, because I don't have any Jaren Jackson Jr. props, I'll just take the 135.
All right. Do you want to throw in Pistons money line in there, or that's just a joke?
Oh yeah,
play?
Nah, Pistons money. Nah,
just asking. I was just wondering.
You want a bonus dog? Take the. So look, if you just fade everybody in the Deja Vu series that won, that pays out 150 to 1, 152 to 1. If you fade everybody in the Deja Vu series, so you say that all of these series are splits, the team that lost the first game wins the second game, 152 to 1. Am I saying go play that? No. But if it cashes, I'm telling you, because I think the Hawks and Memphis does it. You just got to hope that these two teams that are on million-game losing streaks get a win for that to cash. But, hey, man, it's a possibility. This is a lot of games that we're literally talking about the same slate that we had the other day. So, over to you.
Yeah. I was just wondering because I felt like that was something that I figured if the Pistons do win, the victory lap that we're going to be getting on the next show that you end up doing is going to be all-timer stuff.
Massive.
So, yeah, that's
Absolutely
why I was asking. For this lock and dog, though, I think for the lock, I know that it cashed in. Oh, boy. You know what? I might actually just do it. I really want to take the Pacers team total over like 132.5. I really want to do it, but that number's a bit too nuts. I think I'm just going to go with Halliburton assists. I'll take the over 12.5 as my lock. I know he has not done it recently against with the Wizards, but this is a special Wizards team. And this is the first matchup they've had all year. But you're looking at the Pacers having a massive total, 130s. Halliburton isn't a guy that constantly looks to score. He's looking to get his teammates involved. The Wizards have given up 140 plus in 2 straight games. Pacers are off of a loss, an embarrassing loss to the Bucks because of the basketball fiasco at the end, and Giannis dropped 64 on your heads. I think Indiana comes out, and I do think that you're going to see Halliburton potentially 15 assists in this game, but he's going to have the ball in his hands all the time. The Wizards give up free baskets every single possession. So give me Halliburton over 12.5 assists as my lock. Trying to find the best price on that. So let me just quickly look. So Halliburton, 13 assists is available at, sorry, just trying to find it. Where the hell is it? Sorry. Assists. Okay, so assists, it's at about, it's actually a decent minus price. That kind of sucks. Yeah, it's a decent minus price, but I think it's like minus 135, minus 140. So I'll give it out of 135. So give me Halliburton, 13 assists in this game. For my dog, I think for this one, I'm actually going to go back to a prop. I'm going to go to that Rockets and Grizzlies game, and I'm going to go Jabari Smith. I'm going to take him double-double in this spot. He had a double-double last time out, but he's been very solid at rebounding recently. 4 straight games of 10-plus rebounds. Double-doubles, basically plus 160. I like the price. I think that he's a guy who can have some serious matchup advantages against the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies don't exactly have any true centers. But you look at the last couple of games, and his minutes are basically secured. He's playing 30, 31 minutes. Eason had 14 rebounds, and he still had a double-double last time out. So I think that he's in line for a good rebounding game. But I think that he's, once again, a guy who's really proven in his sophomore year. The guy can contribute. And I think it's a good matchup for him. So give me Jabari Smith double-double at plus 160.
All right. Holy crap. The chat is booming. The chat's throwing in a whole bunch of plays today. They're parlaying a whole bunch of stuff. This is great. I love when the chat is booming like this. All right. I have a parlay for you, because if you played my last parlay and you played everything straight, you were 3-1. Unfortunately, you were 3-1, so the parlay didn't hit. Let's do it again. Why don't we? All the plays that I did not take for my lock and dog, because there's so many times that I will miss my lock and dog but hit everything else. So I got Indiana Pacers minus 8.5 here because the Wizards fucking suck. I have the Detroit Pistons plus 16 because I'm already riding the 8-1 money line. I don't need to be extra. I would take the plus 16 for here. We have the under 241 for the Hawks and the Raptors. It was way too good of a game last time. They can only go down from here. And then we have ending things out with the Orlando Magic first half money line. That pays 16-1. Have a day. All right, underdog. Scott, what do we like?
I mentioned Halliburton or Mathurin. I'll take whichever one has a better line.
13 assists for Halliburton.
That kind of sucks. I was hoping it'd be 12.5, but I think he gets there for the record.
I don't have anything on Mathurin.
Okay.
I don't have anything.
I didn't think so because he's a bench player, but
let's just take it.
Asking.
Every time we got to have that play that you don't really feel good about, because we're not perfect. You got to have that play that,
is it disgusting to kind of like Halliburton under, or I should say lower than for points? 27.5 is kind of massive for a guy that might end up the game with like 17 assists. It's a massive number.
That is, man, but that's ugly enough that. Oof.
But if they blow him out, he's not playing the fourth quarter.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Dang, somebody hates me.
I also like how people criticize the outfit and it's the same sweatshirt every time.
Like what?
It's not even.
I'm sorry. I like support.
It's a nice sweatshirt.
If you want to buy me a new Support Black Colleges hoodie, then let me know. I'll definitely let you buy me a new Support.
What does that say on it though?
It says Support Black Colleges. Like it literally says Support Black and then colleges.
I didn't see. I couldn't read the support part. Okay.
And it's got a really cool patch here. I like it.
Yeah, I'm just rocking a soccer.
And it's cold. And it'd be cold in my house. Like I like it a little. I like to wear a hoodie in the house. So I don't care. I'm home. Fuck you. I bet you ain't. Hey, you ain't see my fit when I went out for Geo. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see.
So you want the Halliburton points?
Yeah,
I
let's
think
do
it's a
it.
pretty good
Half
contrarian
points lower.
spot.
That's a play.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a play that we don't really like. That's enough to cash a lineup. We'll go.
I do
lower
kind
on
of like it, though,
Halliburton.
because Halliburton, once again, never forces his own shot. He's constantly looking to make the right basketball decision. So,
And the Wizards are going to constantly give you the right basketball decision.
and Halliburton really doesn't go to the rim that much. He's mostly like a 3-point shooter. So I think that the Wizards being that bad in the paint actually can work against Halliburton's points.
Wow.
He shies away from contact. That's the one issue I have with Halliburton. He doesn't go to the line enough.
Not bad. I like it. All right. What else? What else we got here? What do we like around the league?
We need something for the Atlanta game because that game's supposed to have a ton of points. So do you want Trey, PA, points and assists in that one?
Trey, Clifton Dallas, Peak. Yeah, if I had to go points and assists, it's either Trey or Scotty Barnes.
And you think Atlanta's going to win. So what's Trey's number at, though? Like 11.5? 10.5?
No, assists, he's at 11.5. You said points and assists. That's at 41.5.
I kind of like that if we think Trey has a shot to go for 30-something again. You might get a better assist number.
Well, I don't know, bro. I kind of like the under. I kind of think.
Really?
It was so – that game –
You took the game over, though.
No, I took the game under.
Oh, I thought you took the over in the end.
Yeah, in that Hawks Toronto game, I took the under.
Well, you said the efficiency. I thought that was mostly for Toronto.
Well, yeah, mostly for Toronto, but you got to think Atlanta still shot 48% from three. Yeah, like, come on. They still shot the ball like pretty well.
I just don't think that Trode or any of these Toronto guards can actually stay in front of Trey. That's kind of my point.
Let's just play a beat again. Because I actually think this one is going to be a closer game, so he's going to play the whole way.
Okay. So what are the points at? 34.5 again? 33.5?
Yeah, 34.5 again.
Sure.
Let's play the beat again.
Sure.
Let Embiid get his. Hopefully everybody else has a letdown.
All right. And you want to go Jabari Smith rebounds as the last one?
He don't even have him. The only person they have is Şengün.
Yeah, the only
person they have up here
Come
is
on,
Şengün.
man.
Yeah, nobody's up there for that game. I don't know what's up with no props being available for that game.
I would take BI, but I don't know if Zion's going to play. Probably not. But
let's see here.
You want Wemby rebounds again? Just run it back. We think AD might not play. So
yeah, let's go ahead. Let's run Wemby back. I'm fine with that. All right.
It's still at 11.5 for Wemby?
It's 12. It was at 12 last time, though.
Oh, it was. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so here we go. This is what we do. Tyrese Halliburton, lower, 27.5 points. Joel Embiid, higher, 34.5 points. And Victor Wembanyama, higher, 12 rebounds.
Sounds good to me.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, Brandon Ingram is making his return to North Carolina today, though. And everybody's going to be over there.
See, when you say return, though, he's been in the league for like 8 years. Like, I don't know how many returns you can have before I stop caring. It's like a revenge game when you've already been with 3 different teams. At some point, I kind of just don't really care. But I think B.I. is going to have a good game because Charlotte sucks. I'm not sure if it's because I don't think it's going to be because he's in Carolina again.
Yeah. Ooh-wee. I kind of want to add B.I., but I'm not going to do it. We got ours. We got our 6 pick. Not 6 pick. Our 3 pick for 6-1. $100 gets you $600. Make sure you use that code SGPN to get that first deposit match up to $100. All right. Chat has a whole bunch of props in the chat. Make sure you join the chat. For the 49 people that are still here, make sure you like the video on the way out. And for all the people that are listening, Horford is ruled out and Porzingis is doubtful. Okay. All right. Wow.
The rebounds, though. The rebounds for
man. I want to go back and add some rebounds to my
that actually might be an automatic like Tatum double-double type bet. Because if they're both
this
out,
might be a Tatum.
That's a Tatum double-double game if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But
his line is probably at 10.5.
Tells you should probably take Orlando now, though, because Brown's questionable, Horford's out, Porzingis is out. They might just be punting. So keep that in mind.
Man, I was telling people to take Orlando when everybody was playing.
Yeah.
All right.
So was I, but I'm just saying, I think Boston might be punting the game.
All right. So there you go. We got everything. I actually don't have. Yeah. Appreciate everybody for listening. And for the people that hate me and still listen, I appreciate you for coming back. Really do. Appreciate everybody that comes back.
You give him his power.
No, for real. They really do.
Yeah.
Like, I think and it also tells me that I'm actually okay at this because you can hate me and still come listen. I don't listen to nobody I hate.
How are you supposed to be a villain if everybody likes you?
I don't listen to anybody I hate. Bill Walton, do not listen. I don't listen to anybody I hate.
I can't wait for like
shout
the
out to the
Christmas
people
episode when you show up in like a Grinch outfit. It's gonna be hype.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. I have nothing else to say, nothing else. Do no other way of ending podcast. Just gonna end it like this. We are out of here.